AECT Standards 1 through 5 Video Compilation. Hello everyone, Linda McClinton here, and this video is a compilation of all of my video segments containing the demonstrations of my competency for all of the AEC standards combined into one. Please continue watching to view the demonstrations. AECT Standard 1, Content Knowledge. Standard 1, Content Knowledge, states that candidates demonstrate the knowledge necessary to create, use, assess, and manage theoretical and practical applications of educational technologies and processes. Here's a list of the artifacts that I chose to illustrate my competency of content knowledge throughout my time as a Master's of Educational Technology student at Boise State University. Specifically, I'm going to discuss the worked example screencast and the web quest page. So here is my artifact on the worked example screencast. The purpose of this assignment is to create instructional material on a complex lesson using a system approach. Here I used Screencast-O-Matic to complete this lesson. I followed segmenting principles as it enables more effective learning by breaking down the entire lesson into bite-sized segments, followed by short exercises for the learner to participate. Finally, at the end of the lesson, the learners then perform the task independently to validate their competency in the entire lesson. So now let's talk about my learning web quest. The purpose of this assignment was to create a comprehensive lesson using a website that we created. The idea for the website was to incorporate inquiry-based learning, which is the process of identifying and researching issues and questions to develop students' knowledge or solutions. So it starts out with explaining what the topic is for the lesson, followed by an introduction and the tasks that are required to complete the lesson. The Process tab shows your resources to perform those tasks. Each link provides information on the given task for the learners, and then also at the very end there are resources for the instructor as well. AECT Standard 2, Content Pedagogy. Standard 2, Content Pedagogy, states that candidates develop as reflective practitioners able to demonstrate effective implementation of educational technologies and processes based on contemporary content and pedagogy. Here's the list of artifacts that I chose to illustrate my competency of content pedagogy. Specifically, I'm going to discuss my TweetDeck and my design document. This is the TweetDeck that I created for my social media network class. The purpose of this activity was to grasp the concept of the benefits of TweetDecks and to potentially implement it into my future classes, as it's a highly resourceful platform for adult learners. I start out by clicking on this search button at the upper left corner, and on the search bar I could type in any topic of my choice. I chose these 5 here. Once I press enter, it brings up all of the topics in its own separate column. The benefits of TweetDecks are that it provides a much more organized Twitter profile, and it filters according to the hashtags of your choice. It also allows you to choose any topic imaginable. When you assign the hashtags of choice, it filters all of your posts to those hashtags. TweetDecks are also a form of just-in-time professional development and a practical way to always stay up to date on current events. All of these posts on TweetDecks are constantly updating in real time, so the information provided is likely never to be outdated, and it displays the appropriate content pedagogy tailored to each Twitter profile. This design document was a core piece to my online course design class. It contains strategies to design, develop, and implement an entire functional online class, and I used it to manage the appropriate technological processes and resources for the course design. The course I created was an introduction to medical terminology and was completely customized and tailored using this design document as my guide throughout that whole process. Here's the course shell I created using the Canvas Learning Management System, which includes the full syllabus on the home page. And on the left menu bar, you can access each module individually. And each module includes course content, a weekly discussion, exercises, and the assessments. AECT Standard 3, Learning Environments. Standard 3, Learning Environments, states that candidates facilitate learning by creating, using, evaluating, and managing effective learning environments. Here is the list of artifacts that I chose to illustrate my competency of learning environments. Specifically, I'm going to discuss my static multimedia instruction and my final PBL project. Here is my static multimedia instructions. The objective of this assignment was to use an appropriate application to create optimal learning instructions that demonstrate the multimedia and contiguity principles. It's essentially like creating a job aid in the workforce. For this assignment, I chose the application Clarify It. In the instructions was a tutorial on how to teach Hotmail users how to log in to their Hotmail accounts and compose a message. This artifact includes both textual and graphic resources equally rather than just words alone. And it aligns words with corresponding graphics, in this case, the screenshots, to show the instructions by providing a real-life visual for the learners so that it can optimize the learner's experience. And this was my final PBL project, which was a semester-long project that required us to select an appropriate technology for executing a class that we designed and created. The class I created was called Introduction to Vital Signs, and the website I chose to implement this course was out of Wix.com, and was designed to improve learning and performance by offering a user-friendly and aesthetically appealing course by incorporating related images, using a scaffolding approach to present data, and avoid unnecessary repetitive verbiage. So the home page has a welcome statement, and the project overview has 4 links that take you to products and performances, as well as assessments, and the resources needed. There was also a project timeline, a student learning guide, instructor resources, and of course the credits. AECT Standard 4, Professional Knowledge and Skills. Standard 4, Professional Knowledge and Skills, states that candidates design, develop, implement, and evaluate technology-rich learning environments within a supportive community of practice. Here's the artifact on my criteria for effective curation. This project was completed with a group of classmates to analyze criteria for effective curation. The objective of the assignment was to analyze the resources for effective curation as well as develop an illustration of resources that include best practices, tips and tricks, and things to consider related to curation. We started out our collaboration with an email thread of our plan and decided that the best way to gather our notes was on a Google Doc, and from there we mapped out all of the areas that we needed to cover and selected our share to research on. My entire group came from all over the nation, which I initially thought was going to be a challenge. To my surprise, our collaboration was flawless as each of us collectively sorted out the objectives in the beginning to strive towards our common goal. I started out by utilizing our resources in the Moodle course shell and then expanded my search online. The final product here was a comprehensive artifact consisting of each of our focused areas in a collective summation. My reflection on designing an online course in the Moodle sandbox describes the andragogy principles that were followed when I created this course shell right here. I analyzed how students perform independent learning, coupled with the course exercises that were listed here in Module 1 to apply practical skills of assigning diagnosis codes as done in real-life medical facilities to enhance professional growth. I also provided examples of instructional strategies applied with the course design, such as the implementation of discussion forums, as you see here, which naturally produces effective back and forth dialogue to address technology-supported instructions and learning. AECT Standard 5, Research. Standard 5, Research, states that candidates explore, evaluate, synthesize, and apply methods of inquiry to enhance learning and improve performance. Here is the list of artifacts that I chose to illustrate my competency of research. Specifically, I'm going to discuss my final evaluation project and my instructional design needs assessment. My final evaluation was a semester-long project. It focused on the extensive evaluation of the goals for a telehealth program. I was required to make a formal inquiry and connect with key stakeholders to develop valid and measurable objectives for the program. The key stakeholders were involved in answering pertinent questions related to the determined program objectives, as well as any financial implications and overall patient satisfaction metrics. The objective of my instructional design project was to design and create a short course on a selected topic. I chose to base my short course on learning how to perform medical diagnosis coding. I was tasked to conduct research and network with subject matter experts in the field of study. I conducted this needs assessment illustrated here. This survey contained both a needs analysis and a learner's analysis. The questions were geared toward gathering information on requirements from prospective learners, and it also contained a self-evaluation for prospective learners. Both sets of research were conducted in the form of surveys in an online and email-based forum. And the online survey was posted as a link that targeted 20 to 25 responses. I formulated a series of questions seen here for a subject matter expert. She gave me valuable insight to the field of diagnosis coding, and I implemented her recommendations to my overall course.